Jose Trujillo, a fine art painter. I'm coming to you from my art studio with one or more of my Trujillo art rants. Okay, this one's it's about, don't complain about the situation you're in right now. Don't complain about your situation. I know a lot of it has been talked about all over the net, everywhere, in books and talks and whatever, about an attitude of gratitude. Okay, you as cliche as that is. Nothing, and I'm going to tell you right now, nothing has been more powerful in my personal life than to show up with an attitude of gratitude. Than to show up with you know what, I'm going to do this. Let's do this. Whatever it is, whether it's, hard labor or talking to someone, emails, my kid, my spouse, it's an attitude of gratitude. Every time that something's gone wrong in my life, it's because I've forgotten that, and I kind of slipped back or down or whatever you call it. So I'm here to tell you, don't complain about the situation you're in. If you're an artist or a musician, one of those, whatever, any type of creative, and you haven't landed that gallery show, or you have a gallery show, but you haven't landed the one-man show, where everybody comes and greets you and meets you and you get to, show off. If you haven't landed that, don't stay in the place of, they don't like me, they only picked that other artist. Pay attention to the other artist. Maybe the other artist is more productive, or has a better attitude, or is more prolific, or they just put more hours than you. And that's why they're getting the shows, There's always something. People have to do something. Of course, if it's the owner's son or whatever of the gallery, maybe that has to do something. But either way, there's always something. Pay attention to it. Maybe become friends with a person. I don't know. But you want to be able to not complain about your situation. All you're doing with complaining is creating a bigger story about why things don't work your way. And the bigger that story is, the nastier. It gets nasty, because you start talking about, and it just goes downhill from there when you start complaining about your situation. What you want to do is retract from that. Okay? Don't complain about your situation. I don't have a big enough studio. Who cares? Paint in your bathroom. If you're painting in your bathroom at night and that's the only place you have peace and quiet or whatever, do it there. I used to paint in my kitchen. I painted everywhere. Everything was my studio. Now I have a big studio. I'm glad, but before that I had I shared spaces with other artists, and you learn a lot there. But you also get to experience negative attitudes from others, because they're kind of, a lot of them are struggling, and they're only, I believe the only reason a lot of them are struggling, or the great majority, is because they're not working hard enough. They're overthinking stuff. We're thinking too much. Should I do this? Should I do that? Oh, my feelings, my emotions. And then they start complaining about things. They don't even know they're complaining, because they're overthinking everything so much. They're not acting enough. They're not moving hard enough, fast enough. And anyways, my name is Jose Trujillo. I'm a fine art painter. And keep an attitude of gratitude. Don't complain about where you are. Okay? Thank you so much for watching.